Tonight, a major storm crashes into the West Coast. An urgent coastal warning as rogue waves were seen slamming into the California coast. At least 8 hospitalized, nearly a dozen rescued as waters swept past a seawall, engulfing a coastal community. And
so if Tucker did not get the kidney transplant, he would have died.
Yes, he would have died. He was on his last legs.
Shelling out thousands and thousands of dollars for transplants, additional adoptions, and more. We'll show you the extreme measures some are taking to save their furry friends. Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Moran, in for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including today's intense bombardment across Ukraine as the Russian air assault shows no signs of stopping, with Poland now alleging a Russian missile may have entered its NATO-protected airspace. Plus, what will TV look like by this time next year? We take a look as the great cord-cutting movement goes into 2024. And they were some of the most gripping stories of 2023. Lindsay Davis reports on the biggest law and order stories of the year. But we begin on the last Friday of 2023 with one of the busiest travel days of the year and the urgent coastal warnings in the West after a rogue wave startled a sleepy seaside community. At least 8 people were injured when they were swept away by that rogue wave in Ventura County, north of Los Angeles. The wave carrying some people half a football field away. Massive waves hitting up and down the California coast. In Santa Cruz, water rushed through the doors of a restaurant, and firefighters rolled out the heavy equipment to try and protect homes along the beach. This system is moving its way down the coast through tomorrow. Rob Marciano will have that track on that and on the entire holiday forecast across the country in a moment. But first, ABC's Will Carr leads us off from California.
Tonight, high surf warnings across Southern California, 25-foot waves possible in the hours ahead. Crews racing to build sand berms to protect the shoreline. This after that massive rogue wave took over Ventura streets like a tsunami. A wall of water sweeping up people and vehicles in its path. At least 8 people were hurt. More than a dozen rescues Thursday. Watch as 2 people raced to help this lifeguard, grabbing their arms, pulling them to dry land.
So this was the lobby.
That wave destroying the first floor of Judy Thomas's inn.
A wave.
Right.
Of that strength.
Yes.
Could you ever imagine?
No. I mean, it was like a tsunami. Whoa!
Powerful system slamming the whole West Coast, damaging businesses in Northern California's Santa Cruz County.
With the waves being so powerful, if you turn your back for even a split second, you can be knocked over, swept away.
And Will Carr joins us now. Will, I understand the threat is not over there?
Yeah, Terry, there is a real threat through the weekend. That's why the authorities have built up the berms behind me to protect both the businesses and the homes across this area, as that high surf warning is in effect for Southern California until late Saturday night. Terry.
Will Carr, thanks very much. So let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. And Rob, what can we expect for the rest of the holiday weekend?
Well, Terry, things will eventually calm down as we head towards Sunday and Monday, but we got to get through this West Coast storm first. And really, it's 2 storms in the North Pacific that are churning up the water there and causing all that wave action. The one that's closest is spinning a front in, and that's what's bringing the rain from Seattle to Portland to San Francisco, soon in the next few hours down to Santa Barbara, and then eventually overnight tonight and tomorrow morning down to Los Angeles. This is some heavy rain coming in, more in the way of coastal flooding, more in the way of big waves and beach erosion. Maybe 1 to 2 inches of rainfall should be mostly manageable, and up to about a foot of snow. Once it pushes through Saturday, it does mostly die in the mountains. So that means fairly tranquil as we look ahead towards New Year's Eve, with the exception of a little clipper and some leftover rain and snow showers for parts of the Great Lakes and in spots here in the Northeast. Terry?
All right, Rob Marciano, thanks very much. And heading into New Year's Eve, police across the country are on alert from New York City to Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles. ABC's Aaron Katersky is keeping track of this for us tonight.
Tonight, the nation's largest police force is expanding security measures for New Year's Eve amid what the NYPD calls a heightened and dynamic risk environment fueled by the Israel-Hamas war.
We will be out here with our canines, our horsebacks, our drones, our helicopters, our boats.
Police now bracing for the chance pro-Palestinian demonstrators could disrupt festivities in Times Square like they did during the Thanksgiving parade. Authorities will also be watching for potential acts of terrorism after last New Year's Eve when an alleged ISIS sympathizer attacked officers at a checkpoint with a large knife. Today, the FBI took us inside the room where they'll have eyes on the crowd.
Anything in particular worry you ahead of Sunday?
I would say no, nothing right now. Nothing's worrying us. It's just that we have to get it right every time.
Outside New York, the FBI's eyeing a broad set of potential soft targets at other New Year's Eve celebrations, including fireworks barges in San Francisco and outlaw motorcycle gangs that have been warring in Las Vegas.
And Aaron Katersky joins us now. Aaron, do authorities think it's a good idea anyway for people to be out and about in Times Square this weekend?
They welcome it, Terry. Crowds have been gathering in Times Square for New Year's Eve in one form or other since 1904. And this year, the FBI told us there's nothing that should keep anybody away. The expectation is about 1 million people will be here, and the FBI says there are no specific threats. Terry?
That's great. Aaron Katersky, thank you for that news, and Happy New Year to you. And now to the race for president and Donald Trump's battle to stay on the ballot. The former president's campaign is vowing to appeal the decision by Maine's Secretary of State to ban him from that state's presidential primary ballot, citing the insurrection clause in the 14th Amendment. And tonight, what several former Trump staffers told us about whether he should ever be allowed back in office. Here's ABC's chief Washington correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
Donald Trump's campaign says it will appeal what it calls the atrocious decision to bar him from the Maine Republican primary ballot. Maine Secretary of State Shenna Bellows decided to remove Trump's name from the ballot after she determined he took part in an attempted insurrection on January 6th and is therefore disqualified from running for office under the 14th Amendment to the Constitution.
I am mindful that no Secretary of State has ever before deprived a presidential candidate of ballot access under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. But I'm also mindful that no presidential candidate has ever before engaged in insurrection.
There have been similar efforts to keep Trump off the ballot in more than 30 states, but so far Colorado is the only other state to do so, a decision now under appeal to the Supreme Court. Despite the challenges, Trump remains the clear frontrunner. I spoke exclusively to 3 women who supported Trump and worked for him in the White House, but who are now warning of the dangers of a second Trump presidency.
What would a second Trump term look like?
Fundamentally, a second Trump term could mean the end of American democracy as we know it. And I don't say that lightly.
The fact that he feels that he needs to lean into being a dictator alone shows that he is a weak and feeble man.
We don't need to speculate what a second Trump term would look like because we already saw it play out.
And John Karl joins us now. And John, these decisions first in Colorado, now in Maine, other states going another way, and the Supreme Court likely to decide the matter. But what's the political impact of all of this?
Well, it gives Donald Trump another reason to go out and raise money by portraying himself as a victim, Terry. And of course, Trump has been turning around the criticism that he faces so often, that he is a threat to democracy, by pointing to his opponents to say they are the ones that are trying to keep me off the ballot. They are the ones that are trying to prevent you, my supporters, from having the right to vote for me. So in terms of the political messaging here, this may actually help Donald Trump, at least in the short run. And look, as you point out, different states are doing different things. I mean, just last night, the state of California decided against the effort to keep him off the ballot in that state. So this will almost certainly have to go to the Supreme Court. And Maine's Secretary of State, even she said she expected the Supreme Court to be the one to ultimately make the decision there. And if they do, she says that she will respect their decision.
And we'll see if the rest of the country goes along with that, whatever the decision is. That interview with the 3 former Trump officials, so fascinating. John, what else did you hear from them?
Well, it is fascinating because these are 3 women who all worked in the West Wing of Trump's White House, had offices steps away from the Oval Office. And they are 3 of those who turned on him quite hard after January 6th. All of them cooperated with the January 6th committee. And one of the fascinating things that I learned in this interview, and it's amazing to still be learning things about that day and the aftermath, is what brought them to the January 6th committee. already. They all kind of worked behind the scenes, kind of encouraging each other to come forward and tell their stories, despite the fact that they would face repercussions and threats, and certainly threats to their political livelihoods, all of which have come true. So really a truly fascinating discussion. They know each other quite well, but this is the first time the three of them have gotten together for a joint interview like this.
Yeah, great interview. Thanks very much, John Carl. You can see, of course, much more of that interview airing on This Week this Sunday. Thanks. And so we move on now to the war in Ukraine. Russia unleashed its largest attack today since the fighting began nearly 2 years ago. The massive barrage of missiles and drones simultaneously targeted civilians in 6 major cities. Dozens were killed. Apartment buildings, shopping malls, and a maternity hospital all took direct hits. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
The skies over Ukraine were set ablaze after Russia unleashed its largest attack since the start of their full-scale invasion. Civilians seen running for their lives. At least 31 people killed and more than 100 injured. In Dnipro, a mall in flames, and this maternity hospital where mothers were about to give birth left in ruins. In Odessa, a residential building engulfed, flames and smoke rising into the air, rubble piled high down below. Crews rushed to save this man buried alive in Kharkiv, lifting a concrete block off his back. Russia launching more than 150 missiles and drones in a horrific day-long assault, striking 6 major cities across Ukraine, including the capital. Poland, a NATO member, saying one Russian missile entered their airspace before disappearing from radar. President Zelensky saying Russia used, quote, nearly every type of weapon in its arsenal, adding his forces will surely respond.
And Terry, as you know, Senate negotiations continue on Capitol Hill on a new aid package for Ukraine. And President Biden was out with a statement today with a veiled warning to Republicans who want to scale back that aid, writing, quote, history will judge harshly those who fail to answer freedom's call. Terry.
Marcus Moore, thank you very much for that. And now to the Israel-Hamas war and growing concern about the mounting civilian death toll in Gaza. Today, South Africa asked the International Court of Justice for an urgent order declaring Israel in breach of its obligations under the Genocide Convention. The appeal to the UN's legal body is South Africa's latest effort to increase pressure on Israeli lawmakers to seek a ceasefire. And at the same time, escalating attacks in the Red Sea are fueling fears that the war could expand across the region. Today, the U.S. once again shot down a drone and a ballistic missile fired by Iranian-backed militants. In the area at the time, 18 vessels, most of them cargo ships. Here's ABC's Britt Clennett.
Tonight, Yemeni state media showing huge pro-Palestinian crowds waving flags and placards in the capital. These mass protests held weekly in Yemen since Israel's bombardment of Gaza began in response to the deadly October 7th terrorist attack by Hamas. Claiming to be in protest of Israel's war against Hamas, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels inside Yemen on Thursday launching their 22nd strike on vessels in the Red Sea, a vital route for global shipping. A U.S. warship once again shooting down a drone and ballistic missile. Houthi leader Mohammed al-Houthi telling ABC News the ball is in President Biden's court. We seek to stop the aggression on Gaza, and the American president seeks to expand the conflict. If the American president aims to expand the conflict, it is up to him, al-Houthi says. Tonight, the White House saying the United States is prepared to lead the global response in countering what they call the Houthis' indiscriminate attacks.
Terry, the U.S. military is leading an international task force to create a safe passage for shipping companies to use, but some major firms are diverting vessels away from the Red Sea. And these attacks by the Houthis, they're showing no sign of stopping. Terry?
A real problem there. Britt Clennett, thank you for that. And there's an urgent manhunt tonight for a mother in Colorado on the run after allegedly killing 2 of her own children and wounding a 3rd. Police say she falsely reported a break-in at their home. The FBI now joining the investigation. Here's ABC's Mola Lenghi.
Tonight, the FBI desperately searching for a Colorado mom on the run. Police say what began as a burglary call has turned into a manhunt for 35-year-old Kimberly Singler, accused of murdering 2 of her children and attempting to murder another.
It could be an assault patient with multiple stab wounds with other victims involved.
Colorado Springs police say the initial call came in just after midnight on December 19th. Authorities arriving to find Singler's 9-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son, both dead. Singler and her 11-year-old daughter treated for injuries.
Just the other day I saw them playing outside in the snow, and to think that they're not here anymore is just, it's heartbreaking.
But as authorities investigated, they determined there was no burglary. By the time Singler was charged with murder this week, police say she had already disappeared. Last seen Saturday, December 23rd.
They took her to the hospital and then they released her, and now they're looking for her. What happened there?
And Mola Lenghi joins us now. Mola, what charges is the mother facing?
Well, Terry, she is facing 10 charges, including 2 counts of murder. Her bond is set at $10 million. And we should also note that, according to police, her 11-year-old daughter, who, as we mentioned, was injured in that incident, is safe. Terry?
All right, Mola, thank you very much. And there are new developments in the case against the man accused of killing legendary rapper Tupac Shakur in 1996. Prosecutors allege that the suspect, Dwayne Davis, who's been in jail since his arrest in September, has been discussing plans with his son to potentially assassinate witnesses in this case. Shakur was shot to death in Las Vegas in a drive-by shooting after attending a Mike Tyson boxing match. Well, there's still much more to get to here on Prime. Coming up, what's ahead in Ohio's struggle over gender-affirming care for minors. But next, in our Prime Focus, going as far as it takes to save a pet. Kidney transplant surgeries are spiking for cats. It's a procedure that costs thousands of dollars and also brings up some ethical questions.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel, outside the Gaza Strip, in Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on. Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
How far would you go to save your pet's life? That's a question most pet owners have faced, and as veterinary medicine advances, there are more options on the table, options that can be extremely expensive, like a kidney transplant for cats, a surgery that could cost upwards of $20,000. But for some, that cost is well worth it. Our Jacqueline Lee met with a cat dad who opted for the pricey procedure, and she goes inside the university that's at the cutting edge of pet medicine.
The bond between a pet and an owner is like no other.
What do you got? Come on.
While there may not exactly be two-way conversations, there's no question that a deep love is there. Here in Franklin, Tennessee, 3 friendly felines are cuddling up with their owner, Greg Norwicki, Charlie, Tucker, and Slash. Their journey hasn't been without its challenges. 5 years ago, Tucker experienced kidney failure.
Can you kind of explain what Tucker's been through?
Tucker's been through a lot. Routine blood work, and his
kidney value, the creatinine level and his BUN levels were slightly elevated. 3 months went by, 6 months went by, they continued to elevate. So Dr. Grace introduced the concept of a kidney transplant. He became a candidate for a kidney transplant. So I pulled the trigger and I felt comfortable with, the University of Georgia. Some people say, how can you do that? That's selfish.
For Greg, the possibility of losing Tucker wasn't an option. He didn't care how many tens of thousands of dollars it would cost. So he traveled out of state to take part in a very specialized program.
We don't realize how sick our animals are until you see an animal bounce back.
Dr. Chad Schmidt is the head of the cat kidney transplant program at the University of Georgia's Veterinary Teaching Hospital, a one of its kind around the globe.
One particular thing about cats is that they are so good at hiding their disease. So a lot of times cats won't start showing signs of illness and owners won't pick up on signs of illness until it's quite advanced. And so that's one challenge we face in these animals, is trying to work with those very sick animals.
Schmidt is one of only a handful of surgeons who performs kidney transplants on cats.
We are one of 2 active programs in the country. We get our patients from all over the country and sometimes all over the world. The advantage here is that there's such a quality team of specialists in all different fields. It's an amazing surgery group, but you also have amazing anesthesiologists and amazing critical care people. And so there's this critical mass here that really enables us to give the most high quality care.
Across the U.S., there has been a growing demand for advanced care for domestic pets, mostly because pet ownership in the U.S. has increased significantly over the last 30 years. As of this year, 66% of U.S. households, that's 86.9 million homes, own a pet. Millennials make up the largest percentage of current pet owners at 33%.
It's considered absolutely normal behavior for people to love their animals, spend whatever it takes to fix their animals when they get sick. You have to go back to the fact that for many people, these animals are like their kids. Sometimes it only buys the cat an extra year or so of life. But even so, for a cat of limited lifespan, a year is quite a long time. And it means a lot to the owner.
76% of cat owners said they considered their pets to be a member of the family. And that could lead to increased expenses. Just last year, Americans spent a whopping $136.8 billion on their pets.
How much did this cost?
Originally, we're going back 5.5 years ago. I want to say right around $18,000, $19,000.
$19,000.
Yeah.
So the cost of the surgery at the University of Georgia is around $20,000 for both the recipient and the donor. There are a lot of ongoing costs too. I think owners can expect to spend anywhere between $15,000 to $4,000 a year on medication and tests and veterinary visits.
At the heart of the surgeries here at the University of Georgia, a hidden silver lining for those who go through with the surgery, saving the life of another cat.
We take donor cats from a variety of places. We've had donor cats be cats owned by the recipient family. We've had donor cats be cats owned by the recipient's veterinarian. Importantly, the donor cats are always adopted by the family of the recipient. And to the best of our knowledge, they go on and live a normal life afterwards.
Were you totally on board with the concept of a donor cat giving Tucker the kidney and then you adopting this donor cat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that was, I think part of that was the exciting part is it's like, having a baby, you don't know what you're coming home with. Charlie himself was a research cat. So as I say, we saved his life too. So, I brought home one cat, and we brought home a Tucker, and we brought home another cat that we saved his life and gave him a chance at life as well.
But some have ethical questions about the program.
One of the ethical concerns, of course, is that there's a donor cat involved. And those donor cats don't come along and say, yes, please take my kidney. The argument that is used is that most of those donor cats are coming from shelters. They might not have found a home. They might have been euthanized in the shelter. So donating a kidney to another cat is preferable to that, especially if the recipient household of that new kidney or that kidney is willing to adopt the donor.
Did you wonder, is this ethical for this cat who can't technically really consent to give the kidney to Tucker? Like,
you know, I did what I felt. I've given this guy, you know, Tucker, a chance at a normal life. I felt that if a cat is scheduled to be euthanized, and yeah, you're taking a kidney away from him, you're still giving that cat an opportunity to live a life as well. Now, opinions, everybody has an opinion. A lot of people are for it, a lot of people are against it. A lot of people think it's cruel, you know, a lot of people think it's the greatest thing. So at the end of the day, it was my decision. I did what I felt was right.
Tucker got a second chance, while donor cat Charlie found a forever home.
so if Tucker did not get the kidney transplant, he would have died.
He would have, yes, he would have died. He was on his last legs.
Before you decided to get the surgery, I mean, what did Tucker mean to you?
He was my family. Come on, Tucker.
And here in Tennessee, 5 years later, Tucker is thriving.
In the beginning, do you think Tucker knew that Charlie played a role in saving his life?
I don't know if they're able to pick up on that, but you know, they definitely have a bond. You know, the bond that Charlie has with Tucker versus Charlie with Slash.
What do the next few years look like for those two?
I wish I had a crystal ball. Tucker now, like his creatinine level is starting to creep up as he's an older cat. Come here, Tucker, come on. It's up to him. His primary doctor now, you know, so we're treating him for older, you know, cat diseases. Charlie, he's young. He should, you know, live another, you know, 5 years, 10 years, who knows.
Our thanks to Jacqueline Lee for that story. And still ahead here on Prime, our own Lindsay Davis takes us through the year's major Supreme Court decisions, cold case breakthroughs, and scandalous celebrity trials. More and more Americans are cutting the cord. What's ahead for streaming by the numbers?
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yeah.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
We have really good news. Congratulations, you're pregnant.
I was terrified. It was just so traumatic.
Nightmare. People need to understand, these were wanted babies.
18 women facing life and death medical conditions. Their lives now out of their control.
I felt like I was going to die.
Our lives and our health are debatable.
I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. Diane Sawyer, Rachel Scott, On the Brink, now streaming on Hulu.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
wherever you get your podcasts. Start here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
More TV viewers than ever are cutting the cord. An annual industry report by accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers found that fewer than half of U.S. homes now subscribe to cable or satellite TV. Here's their roundup on the state of television by the numbers. The U.S. paid TV industry is expected to shrink by $30 billion by 2027. That includes revenue from both subscriptions and advertising. By that time, just 49.9 million homes will get their TV from cable or satellite. That's down from nearly 100 million as recently as 2016, and it represents just 38% of U.S. households. Of course, that doesn't mean we're all turning off the tube. A nearly 16% increase is forecasted for streaming revenue. Nearly 25% of that will come from advertising. But streaming subscriptions are expected to stay strong, surpassing $100 billion by 2025. This report predicts ad-supported streaming options will grow as companies seek ways to make money while holding on to subscribers by offering lower rates. That's something we're certainly already starting to see. And much more ahead here on Prime. Flooding and evacuations underway in Germany. How much longer the rain will last there? And you won't believe what thieves stole from this woman's home.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland.
From Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw.
Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation.
You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
The U.S. Capitol.
Mayfield, Kentucky.
Minneapolis.
Mexico.
Tongass National Forest, Alaska. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. Giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital, destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye. Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news. Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland.
Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw.
We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts. ABC News, America's #1 news source. All across the globe, the world will be celebrating the new year. And you can see it as it happens live. The global celebrations. See the new year as it comes in live. Streaming all day and night on ABC News Live.
The battle over gender-affirming care for minors advances in Ohio. The new year is bringing in good news for millions of workers across the country, and the case of the stolen driveway. Those stories and more in tonight's Rundown.
Ohio's Governor Mike DeWine today vetoed a bill that would have banned transgender minors from receiving any gender-affirming care before the age of 18 and prevented transgender girls from taking part in girls' sports. DeWine says those decisions are for families and medical professionals to make.
These are gut-wrenching decisions that should be made by parents and should be informed by teams of doctors who are advising them.
The legislature could still override the veto with a 60% vote.
A school has suspended a college basketball star after he was charged with rape. Terrence Shannon Jr. of the Illinois men's basketball team surrendering to Lawrence, Kansas police Thursday. He faces sexual assault charges from last September. The University of Illinois saying he posted bail. Shannon was one of this year's top college basketball players. His school says he was in Lawrence this fall watching the Illinois-Kansas football game and was not there on university business.
The U.S. military's secret space plane blasted off from Kennedy Space Center on a secretive mission Thursday night. The X-37B plane lifted off aboard SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket, carrying classified experiments. On its last flight, the space plane flew for 2.5 years before landing in Florida last year.
The U.S. Space Force wouldn't say what's on board other than a NASA experiment to gauge the effects of radiation on various materials, including plant seeds.
Starting January of next year, close to 10 million workers across 22 states will have more money in their paychecks, and that's all thanks to a boost in minimum wage. More than half of those workers are in California, Hawaii, New York, all states where the cost of living is especially high. The pay bump will be massive for Maryland, Hawaii, and Nebraska. Pay also going up for their minimum wage workers by at least $1.50. Despite this progress, 20 states still use the federal minimum wage of $7.25, but 3 more states plus D.C. are due to raise their minimum wage later on in the year.
Come home and my driveway's gone.
Amanda Brochu isn't exaggerating. What used to be a concrete slab outside 1438 Bethesda Street is now a patch of dirt that she didn't ask for. Brochu says it all started when she put her home up for sale. Strange contractors started coming by, measuring her driveway. Deputies have launched a criminal investigation into the situation.
No one's gonna buy this. This brings down the property now, and that just messes it up for me and my family.
A heartwarming reunion as the year comes to a close. U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Mike Alcala finally reuniting with John, a retired military working dog, after more than 2 years apart. The two had served together for 3 years in security and law enforcement roles, including protecting high-profile VIPs. When their time together ended, Sergeant Alcala had promised to adopt now 11-year-old John one day, a promise now fulfilled. World News Tonight will have more tomorrow with Sergeant Alcala and John reunited at last.
And as the year comes to a close, our Lindsay Davis takes a look back at some of the headlines that had everyone watching in 2023.
Sam Bankman-Fried has been found guilty as charged at his federal fraud and conspiracy trial.
Guilty on 7 counts of fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering.
This is a story about the fall of the king of crypto. When you think about financial frauds in American history, this is right up there with Bernie Madoff and Enron. A huge, huge fraud.
My client, Mr. Bankman-Fried, maintains his innocence.
From
one of the largest financial fraud cases in U.S. history to the double murder which horrified and captivated the nation. We begin with Alec Murdaugh, found guilty on all counts. The once prominent attorney convicted of the double murder of his wife and son.
The nail in the coffin for Alec Murdaugh was this unsent Snapchat video that was found on Paul Murdaugh's phone.
Were you, in fact, at the kennels at 8:44 p.m. on the night Maggie and Paul were murdered?
I was.
Did you lie to them by telling them that you were not down at the kennels on that night?
Yes.
Now the judge sentencing him to 2 consecutive life sentences, one for each of his wife as well as his son.
No justice, no peace.
And some justice was also served in the years-long cases that have been fuel to the ongoing Black Lives Matter movement.
In Minnesota, the last of the 4 officers involved in the death of George Floyd has been sentenced on state charges.
But the fight against racism and police brutality is far from over.
The unfortunate reality is that George Floyd, Elijah McClain, Breonna Taylor are just the tip of the iceberg.
People are killed every day just for what they look like.
If I could point to 10, 15, 20 cases involving white citizens who had undergone similar circumstances, then you can make the argument that there's no bias in policing. But we don't have that evidence, do we?
This year brought indictments in many high-profile cases, including one of the biggest cold cases in pop culture history.
For 27 years, the family of Tupac Shakur has been waiting for justice. We are here today to announce the arrest of 60-year-old Dwayne Keith Davis, a.k.a. Keefy D, for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
The grand jury indicting Dwayne Davis on 1 count of open murder with use of a weapon. He entered a plea of not guilty.
It was so important for the music industry, and most importantly, it was so important for his family to bring closure and to being able to hold someone accountable for the murder of their son.
Closure, something Natalie Holloway's family had also been waiting for far too long.
Today, I can tell you with certainty that after 18 years, Natalie's case is solved.
On October 18th, 2023, Joran Vandersloot finally admitted to killing Natalie Holloway. The confession came as part of a plea deal in the attempted extortion of Beth Holloway.
And I decided to take her and to put her into the ocean.
Now the way I see it is our never-ending nightmare is over.
And while the stakes weren't as high, another story that saw its end this year was the live-stream trial that at times seemed more like appointment television.
And 2 skis came between my skis, forcing my legs apart.
Following a 2016 ski accident, retired optometrist Terry Sanderson filed a lawsuit against actress Gwyneth Paltrow, seeking $300,000, claiming his life had abruptly deteriorated after the accident. Gwyneth Paltrow countersued.
And you're bringing this claim for $1.
I am.
Best moment in the entire trial is when Gwyneth Paltrow has to explain why she's suing for $1. Well, you learned about that through Taylor Swift because she asked for $1 in symbolic damages, right?
And I think I said at that point I had not been familiar with it, but I since am.
Are you good friends with Taylor Swift?
No.
And she says these things that she thinks are relatable that could not be less relatable to the average person.
Well, I lost half a day of skiing.
In the outcome, Gwyneth won. She walked off to Goop for another day.
Gwyneth won $1. Go off.
From a ski day gone awry to Supreme Court decisions that impacted many.
We do begin tonight with the landmark Supreme Court ruling striking down affirmative action as we know it in college admissions.
Their decision declaring admissions policies at Harvard and the University of North Carolina violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment.
Chief Justice Roberts, in his opinion for the majority, made it very clear that race can be considered if you attach it to some sort of quality that the university is seeking, but it cannot just be a blanket checkmark box.
And while there are some who agree with the court's decision, believing admissions should be based solely on merit, others fear this could lead to a decline in diversity on many college campuses.
It's been a passport out of poverty for millions of American citizens, and it has been a path to the American dream.
24 hours after striking down affirmative action, the justices have now issued a significant decision concerning President Biden's student debt relief plan.
The Supreme Court ruled the President of the United States could not make a unilateral decision to remove all of those debts for people.
I'm just really happy that the decision to stop student debt forgiveness was made by a bunch of people who went to law school for $90.
2023, what many have described as the year of the strike.
Workers have taken a stand. They were seeing inflation. They were seeing the cost of gas. They were seeing the cost of eggs. Their groceries bills going up. And they demanded a livable wage.
More than 450,000 Americans have walked off the job and onto the picket line in the hopes of a fair deal.
Why are we here? Patient care!
Tonight, 75,000 Kaiser Permanente workers in California, Oregon, and Washington are off the job.
Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis Chrysler, they got struck at the same time for the first time in history.
This is what democracy looks like.
And this summer, historic strikes that had much of the entertainment industry shutting its lights, cameras, and stopping the action.
I'm so glad to stand with my union brothers and sisters with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. We are the creative part. We're the soul of storytelling.
While A-listers took to the lines to stand in solidarity.
I think that by and large, people were thinking this was a labor strike for the very wealthy, and that's not what this was.
The caterers, the grips, the people who drive the trucks, the cameramen. Hollywood really is a city built on working class folks, and those are the people who depend on this industry.
After nearly 150 days for the Writers Guild of America and the longest SAG-AFTRA strike in history at 118 days, both unions announced they were able to reach deals.
I think if we've learned anything, it is never, ever to underestimate the flashy girl from Flushing.
I can proudly say we began this journey, the largest entertainment union in the world, and we finish it the most powerful.
Lindsay, thank you for that. Well, from the news stories that mattered the most to the celebrity romances we couldn't stop talking about, you can stream The Year 2023 right now on Hulu. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Heavy rainfall has led to floods in parts of northern and eastern Germany, with more rain expected in the next days. Many areas have seen heavy precipitation for several days in a row now. In the northern German state of Lower Saxony, police have closed several streets due to flooding. More than 100,000 emergency officers are working with some areas needing to be evacuated, including a safari park, which saw over 200 smaller animals, such as monkeys and meerkats, evacuated in the last days. Grieving family, friends, and industry colleagues said their last goodbyes to South Korean actor Lee Sun-kyun at his funeral today. The 48-year-old actor, who played the wealthy patriarch in the Oscar-winning film Parasite, was found dead at a car park in Seoul on Wednesday after he was reported missing. Lee was under police investigation over allegations of illegal drug use, and he had gone through 3 highly public police questionings since October. Now, Ollie the cat is believed to have made history this week when the furry feline set sail as part of a boat's crew in the annual Sydney to Hobart yacht race. Throughout the 78 years this race has been run, there have been no official records of a cat on board until now. Ollie and his owner, a retired Navy officer, have sailed around the country for the past 5 years, and he describes Ollie as a, quote, experienced sailor. They hope to arrive in Hobart before New Year's Eve. Good luck to them. Well, now to the cruises taking off after taking a massive hit during the pandemic, and longer journeys of months and even years are becoming more and more popular, despite that recent 3-year cruise that still hasn't set sail. ABC's Gio Benitez has this story.
Another company says it's planning a massive journey on the high seas, this time for 3.5 years. Villa V Residences says it already has a ship and it's expected to launch in May.
It's really meant for you to immerse yourself in the culture and really be the ultimate world cruise.
The cruise says it'll stop at ports in 147 countries, starting as low as $89 a day. That's more than $115,000 before taxes and fees.
It probably is really appealing to a person who's like, boy, I could spend money and sit in a condo or sit in my house, or I could go see the world.
The news comes after Life at Sea Cruises announced in November it was postponing its 3-year cruise. The cruise liner telling ABC News its decision to postpone was made in order to secure a new ship with more public areas. Now they're hoping to set sail next year.
They just didn't have the know-how and didn't know how to put together that big of a project.
Janice Chapelier says she is still waiting for her refund of about $66,000. The 66-year-old selling her home and taking out a chunk of her retirement fund to be able to fund the trip.
They haven't answered any of my phone calls or requests to get an update on being paid, and I'm really tired and disappointed.
The company telling ABC News last week we started with the transfers of refunds, continuing this week and hope to finish all very soon. But sometimes those long voyages do sail as planned. A 9-month Royal Caribbean cruise has gone viral on TikTok.
Day in the life, day 3 at sea.
The ship departed earlier this month. The hashtag Royal Caribbean Ultimate World Cruise already racking up more than 14 million views as passengers document their trip, kind of like a reality TV show.
I wanted to capture the everyday part of this trip because often when you travel, you remember the high highs and the low lows, but you don't remember kind of the quiet moments.
Many landlubbers following along on TikTok.
If you want to know who to follow for World Cruise TikTok, I'm your girl.
So far, passengers say it's been smooth sailing.
Everyone is super eager to meet one another, make communities, make connections, because we know we're all together.
Thanks to Gio for that. And finally tonight, our Danny New spent some time asking kids what they are looking forward to in the new year.
What are you looking forward to in the new year?
I'm looking forward to middle school. I'm most excited for middle school, being in middle school.
What are you most looking forward to?
Growing up. I'm looking forward to like a lot of New Year parties because there would be a lot of food and I really like food.
In February, March, what are you looking forward to?
Seeing commercials about Icon of the Seas, the new cruise ship coming out.
You like cruise ships?
I'm very into cruise ships.
What are you looking forward to next year?
Maybe a cleaner Earth.
What's the weirdest sound effect you can make?
Huh?
Oh my God!
If I had to do it, I'd be like, yeah, something like that.
I sound like that in the morning a lot. What is the weirdest sound effect you can make? You broke some glass somewhere. I think only dogs could hear that. It's like, I can't go up that high. One more time.
Something like that.
That was really good. Oh my gosh. Tea's ready.
A lot of talent there. Thanks to Danny for that. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Terry Moran in for Lindsay Davis. On behalf of all of us here at ABC News Live, thank you so much for streaming with us all year. And there are so many people working behind the scenes to bring you this show every day. They're the best in the business. A huge thank you to each and every one of them and to you for watching. Happy New Year. See you in 2024.
do so many people start their day here?
From ABC